It smells pretty great. So if you like factory smell of electronic devices, just buy it immediately. I've only had this for a few hours. I really just wanted to get the unboxing done and talk about my initial impressions. So we're going to talk about what I don't like, what I do like. We'll start with what I do like, and then we'll just talk about these sort of devices in general. Android devices, the kind of sometimes buying something on the promise of possibly doing something in the future and that sort of thing. So let's start with everything I like, and we'll start just with the overall, the biggest thing, the thing that I think is just absolutely exceptional with this device is the overall build quality. These edges are impressive. Like how they've managed to curve this glass. So this glass is a curved panel. The Steam Deck is like this. The Steam Deck has got a curve there, but it's not glass on it. So this has got a curved panel there that curves around here and then has this edge. It's not flush, but the way that the glass has been finished off and then insets into the plastic is just like, it's a little detail that is really showing me how AYN have come along and the attention to detail that they put into their devices. And now for a quick word from our sponsor. My videos have been sponsored by PCBWay for quite some time, and I have got a project coming soon, so look out for that video. They specialize in custom PCBs for prototypes and that sorts of thing, but they also do large-scale projects as well, and they do CNC milling, injection molding, 3D printing, a whole bunch of stuff. I think the real beauty of it is the fact that you could go onto their website, spec your project out, send it to them, they will review it and tell you if it's possible and if there are any problems with it, then you pay, and then it gets sent to you. I have a project in the post right now and I'm very excited. So please check out PCBWay, and thank you so much for sponsoring today's video. The other little detail is here. You'll see the shadow there, the fact that it's difficult to show when I show it this way because it kind of just looks like one piece of plastic, but actually there's a join here where my nail is. There's a join there. So that line is actually raised off the body, and they've made sure that the plastic running on the top here goes up slightly and then meets up with the bumper. It's just like a little detail that makes it, you use this and you're like, this is a special piece of tech, and I feel so lucky to have it in my hands. The bumpers are soft bumpers, which I really, really like. I don't like clicky bumpers. The triggers work very well, got good triggers here, nice tension on them. I'm used to these huge triggers on my AYN 2S, but and they are kind of streamlined, and it affects the way you hold the device. Like because of the way that they've designed this, you hold it like this, and then your fingers are here, but you kind of have to turn your hands in to use the triggers. So it does feel like it did need bigger triggers on this big handheld. And then in terms of the grip, a lot of people say you need the grip, and I have ordered the grip. I've ordered a few little odds and sods, but this took 68 days to get to me. Who knows how long it's going to take to get those odds and ends. But the grip, if you've got small hands, you don't need this grip. It is surprising and alarming how similar it is to the Retro Pocket 5. It's got a small bump here, place for your fingers, and then your trigger finger goes there. This is exactly the same. It's got a bigger bump, so it's got a little bit more for your fingers to grip onto, and your trigger fingers go there. It feels very good. Like this, the way it is, I know you need a little bit more in your hand to kind of make it for like long play time, and once we progress into being able to play Steam games on Android, you're really going to want that grip. But for now, for shorter gameplay, it feels great. You feel that maybe these bulges should have been bigger, but apart from that, it really is an exceptional design, considering I think they were trying to make this a little bit more streamlined so that you can just like pop it in your backpack, I tested a little bit of audio, and the audio was not amazing, but it is front-firing speakers, and so it makes a massive difference. And so I streamed a little bit and tested it out, and it sounds good. Not amazing. For the price, I think maybe we could have gotten a little bit better audio. I don't know, but it is good. These buttons, these function buttons are clicky. They are quite clicky. We've got these joysticks. These are actually the same joysticks you've got in the Retro Pocket 5. Same joysticks, just protruding out more to give you a bigger range of motion, which we'll talk about a little bit more in my dislikes, but I don't like that. The action buttons are lovely. They really are very nice action buttons. They just are a little bit more resistant than I'm used to. They've got a little bit of like tension to them, quite noisy. I was playing Shredder's Revenge, and I was like kind of hammering the keys, and it was even irritating me, and that sort of thing doesn't really annoy me. So there's quite a bit of resistance on these action buttons. They are bigger action buttons, and they are very similar to, actually they're not similar, so they're bigger than the Retro Pocket 5. Similar in terms of the molding, the way that they're made, but in terms of the depression of them, the Retro Pocket 5 is definitely a softer press than these, and that is something that bugs me. Another little thing, I'm noticing this is popping out more and more. This SD card slot cover is not great. Like, it clips in, but then I don't feel any resistance pulling it away. So that is going to pop open quite often. It has a 3.5mm headphone jack. It has Bluetooth. It has Wi-Fi 7. Yeah, this is not staying. That's going to irritate the crap out of me. Probably going to glue it shut. You've got Wi-Fi 7. For streaming, you are going to get a great connection. Like, I tested this. In my home, I have a 5G connection in my home, so I put the AYN 2S connected to the 5G in my bedroom, and then I connected to the 5G here in my studio. 5G meaning a 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi connection, and it's one of the better connections that I've tested out of all the devices that I've tested. So it's a very good Wi-Fi connection for streaming. This, if you are looking for a streaming device, is probably one of the best devices on the market for streaming, with its front-firing speakers, with this lovely screen. Very, very good screen. I'm not going to talk too much about the screen today because I haven't had a lot of chance to look at it, but it looks pretty great. I've watched some Netflix and all that, and it looked brilliant. So the screen, the audio, the controls for streaming are great. This D-pad is probably the best D-pad like I have used since I've started doing these reviews. I started out liking rubber membranes, obviously, as a retro gamer, and then the more and more I use clicky D-pads. I don't like that very clicky D-pad like I've got on the Xbox controller, but this is a soft press digital dome switch D-pad, and it's big. It's bigger than the Retro Pocket 5. They do actually have quite a small D-pad, so it's a bit bigger than the Retro Pocket 5, and I really like it. And then also ergonomically, they've done the diagonal thing, and it works really well. I was doing some retro gaming, and I didn't feel like, oh, I wish this D-pad was somewhere else. I just kind of switched to the D-pad, and it felt very natural. And that is quite a big deal. If you are not a D-pad below kind of a person, but you want this device, you might be won over by this because it does have a very natural feel switching your thumb down. Now, moving on to things I don't really like. I picked this up now while I'm making the video, but I really don't like this this SD card slot. It's not closing. I hope it's just a factory default. I was sent to review units, pre-sale units, and it took flippin' long to get you, so I'm a bit annoyed by that. So hopefully maybe some people who have already got them in the comments can tell people if it's better on your device. Don't like the slippiness of this plastic. It is very slippery, and that's probably the main reason to get the grip, because just putting it on my lap, it is very slippery. Like, if you're not gripping the glass is more grippy because the glass, kind of creates a seal against your fingers. It's gonna slide. Quite worrying. A very expensive device, and you're just gonna slip out your hands. So that is not good. As I mentioned, these action buttons are, like, I always used to complain about the Retro Pocket clackety buttons. This is kind of worse. It's got more resistance, which makes it more like you've got to slam them down to use them. And I do hope they're going to wear in over time, but that is, they really are quite stiff. Yeah, not a big fan of that. Not a huge fan of the rumble motor. It's one of those rumble motors that don't feel natural. It's got a, like, it sounds like something's winding inside. Not a huge fan of that. And then here's my biggest gripe with this device is this is an expensive handheld. It is not cheap. It is a premium Android handheld, and they've used the same joysticks as a Retro Pocket 5, and like, I've been sent this for free and I feel shortchanged. Like putting my mindset into how much this is going to cost someone, I really feel like this is a big mistake. You're not going to notice it over time. You're going to get used to them. And initially I was like, they feel a little bit too direct. Like a premium joystick, like on my AYN Neo 2S, feels so good. That thing has probably the best joysticks in the business. But for such an expensive, I think for the price, you're getting a lot here. So, and we're going to talk about the value proposition just now. But I don't know, man. All this effort and then these sticks are in here. Just feels like a massive downer. Yeah. But look for my overall. I know there is someone that's just released a long-term review. It is something that you will get used to. With everything in life, there's things that you're going to get used to. You are initially going to get this and be like, man, I wish they'd put better joysticks in here. If you are like a seasoned gamer, it's going to bug you. I wanted to talk a little bit about the software in this video because a few little developments since I last set up an Android device, and like a few little fun things that I discovered. So you can check out my setup guide. I did include the portal in the name there in anticipation for this video. Download all your emulators. I use Obtainium. So if you get a GitHub page, you put it into Obtainium and it will update it whenever they create a new release. So I do my RetroArch, I do my CMove for Android, Citron for Switch, Vita 3K I think I do through there. Suyu I think I did through there as well. Lime 3DS I did through Obtainium. So most of my apps are actually running through Obtainium now. So I do that, install them. You set up all your emulators independently, and then you can use something like Show to manage all your games and put them all in one place. Now, something I wanted to talk about is this a PS3E, so a PS3 emulator. This is a new app, and it's still under development, but you can start looking at playing PS3 on Android. So that's one of the motivators to buy a more powerful device like this, is we will start seeing more and more PS3 games being compatible for Android. So that's a nice promising thing to see. Another thing, I know Retro Game Core made a video about this a while back, but I just left it because it was in like deep development at that stage. I see there's been an update. Pluvia is an unofficial Steam client, so you can play technically your Steam games through Pluvia. All it really is a central hub for WinLater. So it takes like recent settings for games on WinLater and then puts it through some sort of layer through Steam, and allows you to play your Steam games on Android. So that is promising, and I really hope that developer is going for it. And if you do get a chance, go download Pluvia and donate to the cause, because even if you aren't using it, it's going to benefit the community if that developer can carve out some time to develop Pluvia for us. So that is exciting, because if I can get a Steam game going for my holiday, this will be my holiday device, and my previous video will be null and void. Yay. Okay. And then a fun little thing I discovered is, you might know this already, but I downloaded Netflix to demo some video, and then I discovered they've always had the games there, but I didn't know if they worked with a controller. I think I tested it a while back and it didn't work with a controller. So I downloaded the Sonic Mania Plus, which is a few Sonic games that are built into that game. And then I downloaded Shredder's Revenge via the Netflix thingy. And so you can explore there. There's a bunch of games on Netflix to play, and a lot of them are retro games, so that's a fun little thing to look into. So I will always get somebody in the comments, I'll get someone in this video saying, you just use your phone, why spend money on this nonsense? And the reason is, specifically with this, like the Retro Pocket 5, it's a valid argument. Like, this is literally just a phone with controls, and it's less powerful than a lot of people's phones. But here, you've essentially got an Android tablet, large screen device with excellent controls. It's convenient. You know, multi-use tech, like having your phone and then using it for other things. I used to think I was going to use my phone as a camera and set it to like log formats and all that kind of thing, but I never did it. I've never done it because you need your phone to use as a phone. And so to use your phone as a gaming device can often just be completely inconvenient. So this is convenient, It is very comfortable. The controls are better than a lot of these telescopic handheld thingies for your phone. And very often you won't get the latest and greatest Wi-Fi in a phone. I mean, I'm sure the latest flagships have got Wi-Fi 7. I don't know, but this is definitely set up for streaming, and it is going to be a lovely streaming experience. You know, it's just got all the things in place as a handheld gaming device, and especially with AYN, they've paid so much attention to detail here. You really are getting your money's worth, apart from the few little things that I complained about. But I have a feeling that most people who buy this are going to gush over it and say that it is the best gaming handheld they have ever owned.